Welcome back to part 3 of our August Azure Standard haul. Today we are going to be sharing all things produce. Just in case you missed it, we do have a giveaway this month. This is the last chance you'll have to enter the giveaway. We have a bottle of maple syrup, our favorite maple syrup. This is delicious. And the maple syrup cookbook. If you want to enter in the giveaway, we'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of this video. So for now, let's jump in. We're going to talk about produce, what we like, what we get that comes in great consistently, what issues we have, when you have issues, how to handle them, and all of that stuff.
Enter for maple syrup.
Okay, so let's start out with the russet potatoes. This month, these are really small. They're usually, we never really get like the big giant baking potatoes that you'll find at the grocery store, but they're usually a little bit bigger than this. My thought is that these are probably new potatoes. I think up until this month, they were probably some older potatoes that had been stored, but these look really good. Now the thing to know about russet potatoes is that if you're going to get a decent quantity of them, get the 10 5-pound bags rather than a 50-pound bag, because if you get the 50-pound bag, for some reason it is more expensive. So when you get the 10 5-pound bags, they come like this, and we just store these down in our furnace room on the floor where it's decently cool. Not as cool during the summer as it is during the winter, but it's the coolest place in our house right now. Next, we have red onions. These are something that we get pretty much every month. These are consistently amazing. Like, I think that this is probably one of the most consistent produce items that we've gotten from Azure. Now, granted, we have never gone with the 40-pound bag or the 40-pound box yet. And I think that in the next month or two, we probably will, because I think our white onion stash is going to get a little out of control, and we might be able to take a break from that and get one of these. But these are delicious. They have so much more flavor than the onions that they have at the grocery store. So if you have not done so, no matter where you're located in the country, give them a try. With that, I should probably mention that we are located in Colorado. So we are about a 2-day ride to where the truck leaves Oregon and we get it. I know our truck is usually packed 2 days before we actually receive it. Now, if you are on the East Coast and you have a longer transit time, you might want to order smaller quantities of some of the produce to test it, see how that works before you order some of the larger quantities. One of the things that I've heard is that on the East Coast, for some of the produce, Azure will release liability, meaning they put a disclaimer on the site for you and they say that there is a chance that this will perish by the time it reaches you. You will not be refunded. And so pay attention to that when you are ordering your produce. We have never had a problem with when something shows up, it's not in great shape, or it's just downright nasty. We contact Azure, we get a refund, and they've always been great about it. I will say, if you're emailing them, they're a little bit delayed, like 2 months. So if you want your refund quickly, I suggest calling, because then they take care of it right away. Next, we have our yellow onions. Now, these are pretty consistent as well. These are always in really good shape. What was that?
Don't know.
These are very consistently in good shape. The size varies. These are a little bit smaller. Sometimes they're bigger. They always have amazing flavor and they last for a really long time. What we have found, what someone suggested, is that your onions you want to hang in bags kind of like this. So we have a variety of these in our furnace room and we hang them up on a chain so that there's a lot of airflow, and just try to kind of keep an eye on them. We've also realized with the red onions that when they come in a bag like this, you want to make sure to get them out of this bag quickly, because if there's any sort of moisture in here, they will start to mold. And when you tell your husband to take care of the moldy onions and he doesn't for 2 weeks, you have my permission to be angry at him.
Next up, we have
more onions.
Walla 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 Walla.
So these are
Oh my goodness!
giant and gorgeous, and they all look beautiful.
I was not expecting that.
They do not always have the Walla Walla onions, and we normally do not get 80 pounds of onions. We usually just get 1 box, but I wanted to take advantage of having the Walla Walla. We'll go through these first because I don't think they store as long as the yellow onions. But we're going to also be doing some pickling, some freezing, and preparing onions in other ways to preserve them as opposed to just leaving them all down in the basement. I'm gonna have to grab more bags, I think. So let's jump back over here. We have a somewhat already eaten case of tomatoes. So far, we've just kind of dabbled with getting this like 2.5 pound clamshell, I think, a couple times, and they've always been really good. I'm impressed. I prefer tomatoes out of our garden, and hopefully next month we will have them, so we won't need to order these anymore. But I mean, they're tomatoes on the vine. They're good for tomatoes on the vine, but they don't compare. I'm not going to tell you that these are anything amazing or fabulous in comparison to what you're going to find at the grocery store. I feel like they're pretty comparable. Will you agree?
They might not be better. They might be the same, but it's the convenience of getting them all in the same place.
So we're committed to buying as much as we can from Azure, and so that's why we do this. If somebody I don't know. I haven't checked the price and compared it. It was totally a convenience thing. So next we have zucchini, and I know that we're not going to need these next month because our zucchini plants are finally starting to produce. I didn't think they were going to grow this year. There's a couple like dings and mold spots on here. So something like this, I'm not going to complain about. Like, as long as it's mostly salvageable, I'm totally okay. I think it's understandable that there's a small spoilage percentage. If you're somebody who's super, super picky about your produce and you like to pick everything and you sit there and you go through every single item at the grocery store to find the very perfect apple, then you might not want to order the Azure produce. But as long as you're willing to work with a little bit of spoilage factor, and also ideally larger quantities is when it really makes sense to go this route. Next we have the carrots. Now these are something that we were ordering 3, 4, 5 bags of them at a time, and they were all in amazing shape. I have noticed our last batch was not in great shape at all. These I think are better, and I think that they're, I don't know, I'd call it like 90%. What do you think?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah? It's mainly I don't know. Just you cut the tops off and I think that they're gonna be fine. They're just not as perfect as they were through the winter. And I don't know why that is. This looks like it might be a smaller farm, and I think that what's the main brand of carrots like that they have everywhere? Earthbound, something like that. I think they normally have those, and so that might be the difference. And I prefer a smaller farm, and so with that, I'm gonna say win on this batch of carrots. Next, we have cabbage. This month we went really light on the cabbage, just with one red head and 2 green heads. We normally do a 40-pound box of the green and make sauerkraut. We thought we had an abundance of sauerkraut, but someone let it sit in the crock for a lot of too long and didn't fill the water, so it got nasty. So we're definitely going to be getting another 40 pounds of cabbage and restocking our sauerkraut supply next month. But we also really enjoy coleslaw. Using these, we do a Mexican slaw as well as a more traditional coleslaw with, have you been using honey? Have you put no sweetener at all? So I think it's just as good. I grew up, I don't know, I remember coleslaw having a lot of sugar in it. And when we make it at home, we don't put sugar in it. And I think it's delicious. But yeah, we might want to try like the traditional, not the Mexican slaw, but the traditional slaw with a little bit of maple syrup wouldn't be a bad idea.
Ooh.
With the cabbage, the quality is most of the time good. When you get the 40-pound boxes, I recommend going through it and really taking a look at it. Sometimes the heads will crack and it'll be like rotted up through the inside, so you got to look out for that. Usually when they get in the bags, they take a look at them before they bag them, and so they are always in good shape. The consistency on the size of the head is
off the charts.
Like it's not existent. So sometimes you'll get huge heads, sometimes you'll get small heads, but it's cabbage. We throw it in the food processor to shred it up, and it doesn't really matter. We just cut it up depending on whatever size they are.
Mama's favorite. You want it? Are you sure? Maybe. Huh? Yeah.
I have been loving my pickled jalapenos. I don't know. I've never liked pickled jalapenos from the store, ever. And I think you gave them to me. Kevin gave me pickled jalapenos once when we were having tuna salad.
Yep.
On like with salad and crackers and whatever. And it was delicious. And since then, I was like, those were like leftover from my parents. And I didn't really want to buy pickled jalapenos because to feed our family, we'd go through two jars. Well, we would go through 2 jars a week minimum.
Yeah.
And it would be ridiculously expensive.
$16 a week.
So we've been
weeks?
doing 6 pounds a month and pickling these, and I've found a recipe that I use that it just includes honey, and they're like the perfect sweet, spicy combo, and they're amazing, and I love them. Speaking of peppers, we have bell peppers. So we have been getting 25 pounds of red bell peppers and 2 to 3 packs of the green bell peppers fairly consistently. I think every month for the past 4-ish, maybe 5 months. Outside of 1 month, last month, our red peppers were awful. I think that maybe
something happened.
I don't know. There was I can't remember what it was, but there was a very small percentage that we actually salvaged. Plus, even worse, it was supposed to be 25 pounds, and I think it was only 14 pounds of peppers that we actually received. So, if something seems off, weigh your foods. We do not go through and weigh everything. Usually, everything is about right on. But if you look at the bell pepper box here, this box was probably about just a little bit more than half full. So I think it was actually a different box. It was an open box, so it was like bigger. But I mean, you could feel it was, this is 25 pounds. I remember lifting that and it was like nothing. But we will make sure to go through them and we'll pick out. So like this one will that'll get used first. Used right away, kind of cut up and sell, like stuff like that. Honestly, I don't think that there's anything. We've got to go through and examine them, but I don't think there's anything major that is going to require a refund on this one, which is nice after last month's. All right, I think that covers the vegetables. Time to move on to the fruit. To begin with, we have our grapefruit. This is always fun to kind of see. The grapefruit it's consistently good, but the size of the grapefruit varies every month. It cracks me up. These look beautiful. There's a little bit of mold on that one. And again, and this one's a little bit mushy. So again, we'll just go through them and kind of figure out what needs to get used first. But these are not giant grapefruit. This is more like a baseball-sized grapefruit as opposed to a softball-sized grapefruit, which is perfect for our family because each kid can get one. They'll get both halves for breakfast, and everybody's thrilled with them.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay.
Next, we have kiwi.
What? That was enough. It was good.
No, that wasn't enough.
Okay, ready?
Dun, 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 dun.
Talk about the kiwi.
We get kiwi every month. Okay. This one feels like it's hollow. That's odd. The kiwi's fairly consistent. And golly, I'm getting shown up by the kids. I was watching Breslin the other day. She's just gnawing on this thing, walking around the house. I know the fuzz. I'm not there. And you know what? You can't make me. I'm not going to do it.
I've been doing the cucumber slice or cucumber peel style so that there's like a line of fuzz, and I like it.
Yeah. Here. Okay. In comparison to the Costco kiwi we got the other day, I'm going to say that these feel lighter. They're not as dense, which is very odd. But I'm just going to go with the convenience factor. This one, yeah, that needs to get eaten right away. But I'll usually eat 2 of these with a pile of bacon and some eggs. It's beautiful. It's delicious. Really, really enjoy it.
Can you hand me the mango?
Ooh. Mangoes. What's your brightness level?
Next, we have mango. This is not something that we get every month, but from when we have gotten them, I believe they are, they're consistently in great shape. And the nice part about these is that they're actually like ripe and ready to go. Usually they have to sit out for a little while before they ripen. I think the kids will eat a few of these fresh, but their favorite is to dehydrate them. And we do our own just dried mango. They love it. Perfect snack.
Next.
No. Next we have lemons. Oh. Okay, so
How's that for real, people? That ain't edited.
Okay, so I'm going to be totally honest here and say this. The lemons, I'm going to say 50-50-ish that we get this. I don't want to say citrus fruit because grapefruit's generally good. The limes are usually good. But lemons and oranges are usually the ones that have a potential to be nasty. And we've had this happen with the oranges where there's some that are moldy. There was a batch where over 90% were moldy, and we went through and we washed them all off and tried to salvage what we could. And unfortunately, like the next day, they were all moldy again. What I've now learned is that we need to do a vinegar water rinse, and that should help stop additional mold growth.
But the awesome thing is the kids have been doing their lemonade stand, and the feedback they've gotten is that this drink that they've been making is phenomenal.
Yeah, it is phenomenal because it's just lemon juice or lime juice with a little bit of honey, and it's whipped up in that Vitamix air blender. It's perfect. Coming from someone who used to love her like super sugary Minute Maid mixed lemonade.
Guys, again.
Next we have the limes. Oh my goodness, they're beautiful. They're bigger than the lemons. Look at that. They're like, and these look
They look good.
They look great. The limes are not always the same size, which is totally okay. They're usually not this big. I think that's just insane. But they're always in great shape. And you know, as I'm going through here, there's probably like 5 or 6 lemons that are iffy that probably need to get disposed of. Size.
There's more than 5 or 6. I'm calling
All
it
right.
half.
We're gonna have to go through and count. All right, now we've got our seasonal fun stuff. So this time of year, we love getting cherries and cucumbers because we love preserving cherries and cucumbers. We make pickles, fermented dill pickles that we actually just finished and dumped the last that were a little bit too mushy for my taste last week, and we're now ready for more. So the cucumbers are in here. They come in this bag, and I am going to say that they look awful.
Hold the phone.
If I'm being totally honest, I'm not thrilled. They're yellow, but they're not even yellow. They're almost a white color, and I'm concerned I'm not going to be able to use them. So we have had a bumper crop of cucumbers in our garden this year. And here, let me show you. This is a pickling cucumber from our garden, and this is one of the ones that we just got. Okay, so we actually have 40 pounds of these cucumbers. I think that after we're done with this video, we are going to be sitting down and getting to know the cucumbers intimately.
Oh dear.
And determine what we can actually salvage. I mean, these are worse. These are really bad. So that's disappointing because I have 5 gallons of brine sitting on the stove. Now, we got a batch of cucumbers, I think 2 or 3 times last year, and they were all
really good.
Great. Okay, so we will be contacting Azure about these once we have a chance to go through them and figure out if any of it is salvageable. And last but not least, definitely my favorite, is the cherries. So last month I think we got like 3 2-pound packs of cherries because they did not have the case of cherries available. I think it's like 18 pounds. So this month they had the 18-pound boxes, which I was excited about because I was concerned that they weren't going to have them this year, which I'm not going to get a whole bunch of 2-pound boxes of cherries and do preserving. So, flung a cherry at myself. These look really good. I'm very happy with these. I don't think we're gonna have any problem. One of the things that I have read is that when you buy cherries, you wanna always make sure that they have the stem on them. If they do not have the stem, they will start rotting from the inside and they'll go bad really quick. So these, we are going to make some cherry preserves, some cherry jam, and do some dehydrated cherries as well as eat them straight. I've got a couple other cherry dishes. I'm actually thinking we might even do a cherry pie. I never liked cherry pie, but 'tis the season, and why not try a homemade one and see how it goes. Okay, now for the giveaway. If you would like to be entered for a 3rd time, that's ironic. If you want to be entered for a 3rd time for the maple syrup package giveaway, let us know in the comments if you have any pets. Let us know what kind of pets you have. If you don't have any pets, share in the comments below. We have a decent number of pets. We've got 2 dogs, an African gray parrot who likes to make himself heard in I think every single one of our videos. We have a hedgehog, we have guinea pigs, we have tortoises, we have a leopard gecko, I think that's it. Is that it?
We have in-laws.
We have in-laws, and they have another dog. So we like our pets, and I'd love to know what y'all have out there.